Keeta is a crypto that should not be overlooked. They obviously have a really, really strong backing. Again, we'll be talking more about all of this later, but they have a really, really strong backing. They're playing in a market that is a multi-trillion-dollar market. And they also have a really strong, rock solid team that is making some moves within the overall crypto space and trying to get in front of institutions, regulators, people that really have the ability to move massive volumes of money, as well as sitting in a narrative that so far has done very, very well and has been led by XRP kind of most of this cycle so far. So I want to talk about all of this. They also have, of course, have the backing that I talked about, which we will again get into a little bit more here in the future. But Keeta is one that I think should not be looked past or overlooked, because there's so many different things that could potentially happen for Keeta and some major upside, in my opinion, that still could remain to be seen here. So let's go on ahead. We'll move along. We'll talk about all of the different things here. First off, I wanted to just kind of explain a little bit about what Keeta is about from Keeta actually itself here. I don't know why it's showing I'm not following, but I am, but that's fine. We can see here, Keeta Network is the most scalable blockchain in the world, capable of 10 million transactions per second and a 400 millisecond settlement. You will notice this is the holy grail. Everybody's trying for it. This is what Sui's claiming. This is what Aptos is claiming. This is what Say is claiming. All of the ones that, like, this is essentially the holy grail and what they're trying to find. What comes next, though, I do find quite interesting, because I think all of these are kind of necessary for a pure payment system like Keeta is looking for. So here you can see, designed to connect the world's financial systems, Keeta combines built-in KYC, digital identity, on-chain FX, and a flexible rules engine, making it a first blockchain truly capable of supporting regulated financial transactions at global scale. Keeta not only bridges the gap between traditional finance and blockchain, it also connects with existing blockchain networks, enabling high-speed transfers between any two assets and interoperability across ecosystems. After several years of building, we launched KTA, a token to begin the rollout of the Keeta network. KTA serves as the governance token, offering network ownership to holders. We are working closely with respected financial entities to modernize financial infrastructure from the ground up. Join us on our journey to connect the global economy across banks, blockchains, and countries. So that is essentially kind of their overall mission statement. Of course, lots of keywords and lots of buzzwords in there. The biggest ones I would say here would be kind of the high speed, low latency transactions, as well as interoperability between existing ecosystems, which I think is kind of a really key thing here, because a lot of what people are trying to do at this point is, hey, here's our new layer one chain, come over to us and use it. And it can work, right? But that's not always the highest value way to go. If you can essentially allow people to continue doing what they're already doing, but connect them to other aspects of the blockchain network that are kind of otherwise slightly segmented at this point, that is, of course, massively valuable. So that is one thing that I want to just kind of mention specifically that I think is quite interesting. Of course, 10 million transactions per second, there's plenty of transactions to kind of do what is needed to be done. But I also think having the built-in KYC, digital identity, and on-chain FX, I think that is huge, because and one of the things that they actually show in that video below, if we go back to here talking about this, you can see that it will actually show people sending like Solana and receiving an ETH, and all of that just kind of happens and it's all abstracted away. This, in my opinion, is kind of the final form of blockchain. Here you can see it happening right here. This is kind of the final form of blockchain, right? I mean, this is kind of something that I think needs to happen here. And so I think that this is actually really quite cool. The other thing we can see here is that the Keeta founder, Tai Shank, is confirmed to speak on the main stage at Salt, Wyoming on day 3 which is August 20. Now, the thing that's interesting here is Salt, Wyoming is essentially a crypto conference where a lot of the kind of largest people and most influential people within crypto are going to be heading. You've got a lot of different elected officials. You've got a lot of agency heads. You have, I believe Donald Trump Jr. is going to be there, who of course runs a very large crypto company within the space with World Liberty Financial. So there's a whole bunch of things going on here that you can see that I think this is going to be really great for kind of Keeta exposure to the overall crypto space. And so if we go ahead and we take a look at, I just want to give a kind of a quick background of what we're actually seeing in terms of like token fundamentals and tokenomics here for the Keeta coin. You can see right now $1.50 being the price. If we move this over to price, you can see it is already done kind of a little bit under a actually no, this is a little bit under a 15x since May. So it's already seen a crazy move. We have an all-time high at about 153. We have not actually breached the all-time high currently. This is kind of like the next the next thing here for Keeta, and this is why I want to make a video about it today as well, is because we can see we're very, very close to breaching all-time highs and potentially getting into price discovery. So this could be a major thing for Keeta holders, and a major thing that, you know, as we see it continue to run, this could be very, very strong. So I'm going to be looking, probably many of you know kind of how I do this type of thing. We'll get this into candles really quick. Actually, that's not really showing quite well, but essentially what I would be looking for is I'd be looking for a breakthrough previous all-time high, a retest back to the previous all-time high, and then a bounce off of that. I think if we saw that, that would be the perfect time to be entering along. Again, not financial advice. This is just my opinion, and what I personally would be doing is if I saw a break, a retest, and then kind of a bounce off of that, I would personally be looking to be entering a long position, because I do think that we could see Keeta continue to make a really, really strong move to the upside. You could see here a market cap of just $600 million, which again, quite substantial, but not quite substantial compared to some of the things that we're talking about when we're looking at the likes of XRP, SUI, Say, a lot of these. Those are multiple X's larger than what we see out of Keeta here. So again, you know, I'm not saying that Keeta is going to catch up and overtake any of them, but if it does, like, obviously it kind of gives you a roadmap of where we could see Keeta at different heights. The other thing that I think is super important that no one is really focusing on with Keeta is the fact that this is built on Base. Again, when Coinbase starts to integrate what they are doing essentially with their Base chain into the app natively, anybody can buy a Base token on Coinbase basically like with zero friction at all. This expands Keeta. This is effectively a Coinbase listing for Keeta. This is major news. And so this is something that I would say that people should be really, really kind of focused on here, because even though we don't have a Coinbase listing yet for Keeta, this is something that we most definitely will kind of be indirectly getting with this whole Base integration. I think that it cannot be understated here. If we do look here at kind of the markets where they are available, you could see LBank, Aerodrome, again, Aerodrome kind of being the one on Base, Kraken, PancakeSwap, Uniswap, you know, but not really like mini centralized exchange listings going on here. LBank and Kraken probably kind of being the two big ones here. So overall, I'm quite interested to see kind of what happens with Keeta exposure when we see that kind of Base integration with Coinbase. I think it will make kind of the publicity of the Keeta token much, much more amplified than what we're seeing currently. So this is another thing that I'm keeping a very, very close eye on. Now, this is not a price prediction. This is just something that I wanted to show you as we kind of wrap this video up, talking about the Keeta token, which is the market cap of Keeta currently with the market cap of XRP. You could see here, if Keeta had the market cap of XRP, it would be worth $465.17. You can see we're currently at $1.50. So I think that would be a pretty crazy level of return here. That, of course, would be a 312x. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Obviously, XRP has been around for about 10 more years than Keeta has. XRP has a very, very strong community and a very, very strong base. They haven't necessarily really implemented anything real yet for XRP, but they are potentially kind of on the cutting edge of that kind of regulatory stuff, because of course they've been wrapped up in a legal battle for several years at this point. Like, that's finally getting past, like we're past all of that. There's a lot of things going on with XRP that could potentially put them in the front here. But if Keeta was in some way to kind of catch up with XRP, we would see just some absolutely mind-blowing gains coming in here. So I just want to show that a little bit. We could also look at something similar like SUI. SUI has obviously done very, very well this cycle. And if we saw something like SUI, we would see close to about a 20x, maybe a little bit more of an achievable return here. But you can see, you know, obviously very, very large moves to go. We can actually do Say, because I know I compared Say as well. You know, that would be another one. Again, about a 3x, even just getting to Say's price. So this hopefully gives you a good sense of kind of where we are relative to some of these others that are trying to do things somewhat similar-ish to what Keeta is doing. And so hopefully that kind of helps give you some context of just how small Keeta is with some of these just major things coming on. Again, I don't think that the Coinbase thing can really be understated. I think that's going to be very, very important. So we'll have to see how all of this goes, of course, but at least for right now, I'm really, really interested to see kind of how Keeta does. I think they've got a really strong team. Of course, they are backed by Eric Schmidt, who's the former CEO of Google. So they do kind of have that Google backing and kind of the Google name kind of somewhat associated with their token. So a lot of interesting things going on. Again, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, of course, a like and a subscribe does help. Also, if you have any comments, questions, anything like that, just drop those in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of those. So feel free to let me know with anything that you have down in there. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.